Inside William and Kate's love story, the secrets the palace tried to hide. They look perfect. The future king and queen. A fairy tale written in public. But what if the real story almost never survived? What if the palace tried to stop it? And what if the strongest royal marriage was built in silence, pain, and near loss? This is not the version told in glossy magazines. This is the love story that nearly broke under pressure. And why it endured anyway. When Prince William arrived at St. Andrews University in 2001, he was already the most watched young man in Britain. The son of a future king. The boy who lost his mother in front of the world. The heir expected to be careful, controlled, and untouchable. Catherine Middleton arrived as something very different. Middle class. Quiet. Observant. Not raised for palaces or protocol. At first, they were simply students sharing halls, lectures, and late-night conversations that had nothing to do with crowns. William was guarded, humorous, cautious. Kate was grounded, steady, and unusually calm around him. That calm mattered more than anyone realized. Their friendship came first, and that detail is often skipped. Before romance, there was safety. William trusted her. He could be normal with her. No titles, no performance. Then came the moment the palace never expected to change history. The charity fashion show. Kate stepped onto the runway in a simple dress. Cameras flashed. Headlines exploded. William reportedly turned to a friend and said, "Wow, Kate's hot." But what the cameras missed was not desire. It was recognition. For the first time, the world saw Kate as a woman. And from that moment, she was never invisible again. The palace noticed too. As their relationship deepened, so did the concern behind palace walls. Kate was not aristocracy. She had no royal bloodline. Her family ran a business. She had parents who loved her openly. This was unfamiliar territory for the monarchy. And there was something else. William was terrified of repeating his parents' story. He watched his mother suffer under the spotlight. He watched love turn into public warfare. He refused to rush. So the relationship stayed quiet. And then it was tested. By 2004, paparazzi pressure intensified. Kate was followed, photographed, analyzed. Every outfit, every expression. William watched her absorb a pressure he himself had been born into. And it frightened him. The palace did not intervene to protect her. They watched. Some questioned whether she would last. In 2007, the story fractured. William and Kate broke up. Publicly, it was described as a pause. Privately, it was devastating. William went out with friends. He appeared carefree. Kate disappeared from view. She was heartbroken, but she did something no one expected. She stayed dignified, silent, unreactive. This was the moment the palace thought the story was over. But this was also the moment Kate proved something critical. She would not chase. She would not leak. She would not embarrass the future king. She lived her life, strengthened her friendships, and held her ground. William noticed. The separation forced him to confront the truth he had been avoiding. Life without Kate felt louder, colder, less real. She had been his anchor, not his distraction. When they reunited, it was different. Boundaries were clearer. Expectations were discussed. Kate understood the crown would always come first. William understood that love without protection would destroy them both. This was not a romance rebuilt on fantasy. It was rebuilt on clarity. Still, the palace hesitated. There were concerns about Kate's readiness. Her family. Her ability to endure decades of scrutiny. But William was no longer asking. He was deciding. In 2010, during a trip to Kenya, William proposed with his mother's ring. Not as symbolism, as reassurance. Diana's legacy would not repeat itself. This love would be protected. The engagement interview looked polished. What it concealed was years of emotional negotiation behind closed doors. Kate had waited nearly a decade. She had watched friends marry, start families, move on. She waited because she needed certainty, not a title. That patience became her greatest strength as a royal. Marriage did not end the pressure. It intensified it. Kate entered the royal family under impossible expectations. Be perfect. Be silent. Be warm but not outspoken. Elegant but not distant. Always available. Never complaining. Behind the scenes, the adjustment was brutal. William shielded her where he could. He had learned from his mother's pain. He insisted on boundaries, privacy for their children, limits on media access, a slower pace. This resistance quietly reshaped the monarchy. Their marriage was not flawless. They argued. They struggled with schedules, duty, and exhaustion. There were moments of distance, moments of strain, especially as William stepped closer to the weight of kingship. But unlike Charles and Diana, they faced tension together. Kate never competed with the crown. She supported it, and in doing so, she earned something rare: the institution's trust. Motherhood changed everything. When George was born, then Charlotte, then Louis, William and Kate became more than a royal couple. They became a unit, protective, intentional, focused on emotional stability. William broke royal tradition by being present. School runs, bedtime routines, family priorities. This was not accidental. This was correction. Kate's role evolved quietly. She did not rush speeches or spotlight moments. She studied, listened, learned. Her work on early childhood development was not performative. It was personal. She understood the power of emotional security. And slowly, public perception shifted. Kate was no longer the girlfriend who waited. She was the woman who endured. There were rumors, stories, whispers of tension, of distance, of coldness. But those closest to them noticed something else: consistency, respect, private affection. The palace had once doubted her. Now they relied on her. William, once guarded and wary of love, had found something his parents never did: stability without spectacle. The secret the palace tried to hide was never scandal. It was vulnerability. They did not want the world to see how close this relationship came to failing. How much doubt surrounded it. How fragile the future once looked. Because admitting that would mean admitting that even heirs are human. William and Kate's love story is not a fairy tale. It is a survival story, built on patience, restraint, choice, and that is why it lasts. Not because it was perfect, but because it was protected.